Good morning and welcome to the USA Cares podcast. I'm your host, Matt Castor. I am joined as always by Alexis Becker. Good morning, Alexis.
Good morning, Matt.
Wearing power pink today.
Power pink.
You need it because it was a rough morning.
It was. I got stopped by every single stoplight.
You did? Every light?
Every single one.
The kids were angels.
Of course they were. Because
Right.
they were going to FCA today. So they were fine. It was me.
It was you who was having the problem.
I did, yeah.
Is that why you have this bad attitude today?
I never
You kind of have an attitude. Tyra's already noticed it here. She's already talking. She's on my side.
Oh, please.
This is one of those times, we used to say all the time, I wish people could hear what happened just before we started recording. This is a good example of one of those days.
See, you can just flip it on and no one would ever know. I don't think anybody believes you, Matt.
I think they do. I really think they do. I think they're like, yeah, she's a little edgy. No?
But edgy in like a good way, though.
Okay. Whatever helps you sleep at night. All right. You know what? We have a lot going on. And one of the things creeping up, is we are, on the day that we're recording this podcast, we're exactly 10 days away from the 1-year mark of this podcast starting.
No.
We are creeping up on the anniversary.
That's a big deal.
Unbelievable. We beat the odds. We made
We're
it a
still
year.
around. We're
still
kicking
here.
and we're
Unbelievable.
growing, and
How about that?
that's exciting.
Robert, we did it. Almost. I shouldn't say that because we haven't quite made it yet. But
We still have a couple more.
yeah,
recording.
we are getting there.
Just keep showing up.
Well, that's all we
Just keep
do.
showing up.
I keep thinking one of these days you're just going to pull the microphone, but
No, I'm not.
okay. All right. So a lot going on. Today is actually National Pie Day.
Is it?
It's actually National Eat an Apple Day.
National
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. I don't know who comes up with these things,
National
but
Pie Day? I
Yeah.
thought Pie Day was March
14?
Yeah, 14,
well,
3.14.
you know how I like to prepare for these episodes. So right as we sat down, I Googled real quick.
So you really did some research there.
I like to dig in,
Okay.
Let that be an example for you, how to prepare for these episodes.
It is also December.
It is December 1st.
It's December.
Wow, that happened quick.
Tell you.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. So all very good stuff. We are so excited. If you are joining us for the first time listening to this podcast, I guess sorry for the rough start to it, but we want to welcome you. This is a podcast all about veterans. It's all about supporting veteran families, supporting those who are currently serving and those who have served. There are a lot of great nonprofits out there. There's a lot of great resources for help. We want to connect you with those resources. We want to try to help out in any way we can. So we're going to share some stories. We're going to have some guests. We hope you'll join us every week. Hit that subscribe button and make this part of your regular routine. But we've had some really, really great interaction with people over the last several weeks, and a lot of really great feedback from people who have listened. So we're just excited. We always hope that this podcast would help people, that it would be a good resource for people to reach out. And so just very excited about some people saying, hey, I listened to Marla or I listened to Leslie, and those episodes really helped.
Yeah. That's all I got.
That's all you got? That's all I thought you were going to say something really profound there.
No.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll
I'm
leave it.
I'm saving it.
So today, we've got a special guest.
We do.
Why don't you tell us who that guest is?
We have the lovely Miss Tyra Anderson.
Good
with
morning,
us.
Tyra.
Good
Hello.
morning.
Are you excited to be on here?
I
Or
am.
are you sitting through this opening going, this was a huge
No,
mistake?
no.
Okay.
I'm very excited.
Good.
Run. No, don't run. Don't run.
Well,
Tyra knows I do good work over here.
yeah, you do good work.
So
Yeah, you're going to edit
we'll
out
clean
most
it
of
up.
that stuff. Yeah, exactly. She's like, hopefully they're going to cut that out. But Tyra, we're so excited. I had a chance to meet you a couple weeks ago and learn about the great work you're doing with the Woody Williams Foundation.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm excited to have you here, talk about that a little bit, and share some of your story. But talk about, for people who don't know what the Woody Williams Foundation is, would you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Woody Williams Foundation is a nonprofit organization as well. And what their mission is and what they do is they help Gold Star families. So for anyone that doesn't know what a Gold Star family member is, that is anyone who has lost their loved one in service to the country. So the big thing about Woody Williams is the monuments that they've been putting up. So that they're in 50 states currently, 50 monuments. throughout the 50 states. And what it is just to serve as recognition for that service member that has been lost. And the goal is for there to be one within every community. So you think of a state, for example, Texas, that's a huge state. Maybe there's just one in Austin. They want one in every community within Texas, all of the major cities. So it can serve as recognition for, that family member that passed away.
It's kind of like us in our chapters. We want one everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere. So for those who don't know who Woody Williams is, who is Woody?
Yeah, so Woody is the last living recipient of the Medal of Honor, and he was a Marine and a veteran himself.
Wow.
And he's 98?
98 years old, and he still, travels and does speaking engagements. And
I hope I'm still doing
has a lot of life in
I hope
him,
I'm doing that well at 98.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible. So you're doing a lot of good work, and we had, Alexis and I were out at one of the veterans parks here in Kentucky, and we're able to see some of these monuments, and it was powerful.
Yeah.
And, it's really cool to see the kids going up to these monuments and learning about what these people have done, a little bit of the history, and it's powerful.
Yeah, I agree. I think something that's really big with the monument is the silhouette that's cut out in every single one. So it's in the shape of a service member. And it's just, that emptiness, that openness, I think it kind of just serves as that missing person. And I just think it's very powerful.
I remember that one. It was kind of like right in the center.
Yeah.
And just, it was very, it drew you to it with that. I could see through it. And that's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're really creating that environment that it's the monument itself is impressive, but just it's just I don't know how to explain it. If you've not been to one of these veteran parks where these monuments are, you really need to visit. It's just it's a special time, really. It's got a kind of its own unique feel to it when you approach it, and it's just very honoring and very respectful and very cool.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
yeah. If somebody wants to learn about Woody Williams Foundation, where do they go?
Yeah, they can go to woodywilliams.org.
Woody Williams. I'm writing that
Yeah,
down.
yeah, it's an easy one.
Because I will get that wrong.
Yeah.
So awesome. So you coming from a military family as well,
Yes,
right?
I do.
Alexis was talking to you the other day. What was it you asked her? Have you ever moved around?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's the dumbest question to ask anybody who's, military family,
And she's
obviously.
like, oh, a little bit. I lived here, and then I lived here, and then I lived here.
Yeah.
But talk about your family a little bit, kind of your experiences, all the places that you've lived. Talk about that for a minute.
Sure. So my family is from Knoxville, Tennessee. That's where both of my parents were born. That's where all my cousins, aunts, uncles, everybody lives there. My dad joined the Army very early on in his early 20s. And from there, they moved from Knoxville to Virginia Beach. And that's where I was born. From Virginia, we moved back to Knoxville for a little bit. By a little bit, I mean like 7 months maybe. And then from there, we moved to Germany, and we lived in Frankfurt in Germany. And we lived there until I was about 5 years old. From Germany, we moved back to Virginia Beach and lived there for about 2.5 years. Then we moved to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible place.
Everybody who comes on
For
here,
anyone in Missouri
oh my
that's
goodness,
listening, there's just
Missouri gets crushed on this
do.
podcast. It's like
Nothing
all of our
there.
guests are like, it was awful.
Well, I think Lexi said that she was born in Missouri. Wasn't
Yeah.
She?
And any hopes we have of having a Missouri chapter are pretty much shot at this point.
no. So
But we love you, Missouri.
We lived on the base in Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood, and literally, like, to go to the mall, you would have to drive like an hour and 30 minutes just to go to the mall.
What do they call it?
Wow.
Fort Lost in the Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was where she lived too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm getting there.
Yeah.
You just caught up. The rough morning is still it's still hanging out there.
I'm like, oh yeah. No.
Come on, you just put that power pink coat on just in hopes that it would give you a little extra
I
boost
just needed
today.
a little brain power.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Anyway, coming back.
Yeah. And from Missouri, that's when we moved to Louisville, Kentucky, and we've lived here since. So
Beautiful Louisville, Kentucky.
yes.
Absolutely. Well, good. So it's we've talked a lot about people who have grown up in military families. We talk a lot about Lexi Hedges, who was our guest on. I think you listened to that episode,
Yeah.
but her experience with moving around and with a father deployed and that sort of thing. But it is unique.
Yeah,
and it is
absolutely.
something, it's a special way to grow up in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, or for me personally, like it definitely makes you more adaptable in
Yeah.
the sense that, every 2 years or so you're moving somewhere new. You have to make new friends, meet new people,
Yeah.
and learn a whole new environment.
Yeah.
So that's something that is positive. It
Yeah.
definitely made me more adaptable.
How many deployments did he have?
3.
Okay.
Yeah, so one he fought in Desert Storm.
Okay.
Years ago, and then
Yeah.
he was deployed to Afghanistan twice.
Okay.
He did 2 tours over there.
Okay. And sadly, he didn't. He lost his life in that
Yes.
last deployment, and but just can't say enough about what that means. I mean, his service to the country. Obviously, it was his life,
Yeah.
right? You said before he loved it.
Yeah, I mean, he did, and again, I told you he started very early on in his life, and he truly just worked his way up. He started whatever the lowest rank is,
Yeah. Yeah.
an E1, E2, whatever that is, and then by the end, he was a captain. So, we saw him go through like drill sergeant school. We saw him do so many different trainings and different things just to grow within the Army and grow within the military, and to work from the ground all the way up is something real powerful, I think.
What a great example to his family, though.
Yeah.
Right? To see your dad following his passion.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that he was just a person, I mean, as cliche as it sounds, but just a person of service. Like,
Yeah.
he genuinely loved to help other people, serve other people. So, I mean, the military was a perfect outlet for that. What
Yeah.
That's so
greater way to
cool.
serve than,
Yeah.
So there's 4 kids.
Yeah.
Total.
Yep.
Are
so,
any of you all military?
No. No, we're not.
She's like, that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
And you're
So-
in the middle, right?
I am. So I have an older sister.
Oh, you're a middle child?
Yeah.
Oh no.
We have a
I have my
baby
opinions
here.
on that. Yeah.
Well, you're a baby.
I am a baby.
You're a baby.
No, I am the. Yeah.
Oh,
The middle is the best, for sure.
Middle is not the best. Middle's a little bit twisted. They're kind of.
I've heard
they're
that
kind of
before.
conniving.
I'm like,
they're
no.
kind of mean. Robert, are you a middle?
Only child.
Oh
Oh.
no.
Yeah.
I know.
That's the worst.
Yeah, I'm an oldest, and my husband's an only. So that's
Oh.
Oldest.
why we are. we work well together, but we also are like
The oldest think they're so special.
we are special. We're the first.
Anyway.
But yeah, so an older sister than me, and then 2 younger brothers.
Okay. So, I completely lost the question I was going to ask. Sorry. That might be a good
okay.
editing moment. So coming out of the experience that you've had, obviously life changes pretty quickly.
Yes,
and things don't go the direction you think they're going to go. And all of a sudden your family as a unit pivots and starts going in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that struck me when we've spoken before is how many people and how many organizations came out to support. That was powerful, and that's what we hope you hear. Who are some of those organizations that really stepped up to help you guys, and what was it that they did?
Yeah, I would say the biggest 2 that come to mind for me would be TAPS, and that's the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, and then a Soldier's Child Foundation. And something that I really, really love about a Soldier's Child is something that they do is every single year until you're 18, they give you a birthday box. And,
No
my
way.
Oh.
2 younger
That's
brothers,
awesome.
they were 9 and 11 years old when our dad passed away. So from the time of 9 to 18, my youngest, he would get this birthday box. And
That's so cool.
people, they would put a lot of different notes in there, gift cards, really, really nice items. And I thought that was something that's unique and really cool that they do for children of military members that have lost their lives. And then TAPS is really, really amazing. They offer so many different events and programming, like mentorships, different things like that. And my family has gone on a lot of trips with TAPS. And, when you think of something so tragic as your parent losing their life, and to be able to, go on these fun events and kind of have a distraction a little bit from that, it's something that's really cool that they do. My family went to London and got to watch an NFL game,
That's
and
cool.
my dad was honored there. We went to they have something called Good Grief Camp. They do it all across the country. We went to the one in DC, so we got to go to Arlington Cemetery. We got to tour the Pentagon, which was absolutely amazing.
That had to be cool.
You
Yeah.
know, everyone can't say that they've been in the Pentagon.
That's right.
So yeah, just so many different things that they do. And I mean, they're all fully funded. So, we didn't have to pay for these flights to go to another country. We didn't have to pay for our stay or anything like that. They take really, really good care of you and just, give you something fun to look forward to and something exciting that is also honoring the life of that family member.
Yeah.
Now, is that something that they, losing your dad at 16?
Yeah.
And that's kind of young, and you seem young still.
Thank you. I just turned 27 this month, or I guess November, and I feel like I'm old now. So.
No, I feel old, but thank you.
Well, because you are.
Thank
But
you.
Now you're leading me off my path, Matt.
Oh no.
I was going to ask like a very serious question here.
You were
But
talking about when she was 16.
It's okay. We can regroup.
I'm going to pause you just for a second because it's a good moment. I want to fix that middle camera. Okay.
Okay. Oh, are we supposed to be looking at the camera?
Oh, I don't know.
No.
Looking at
Okay.
No,
Oh my
no,
God,
no.
not.
You're going to get more interruptions from me for perfection. That's all I'm trying to do.
Perfect. Oh,
Think
that's
of
what
your question.
I have my question.
Okay, think of it again. Now would be a natural time to get back to your question.
I have it. It's right here in the front.
All right, write it down and I'll
No.
see it.
No, because then you'll take it
I will.
and you'll make it yours.
I'll give you a okay on the mic when you guys are good.
You just started it. You just start when he tells you. Since you were talking.
Thanks, Matt.
Well, sometimes you just sit there and look at me like.
We paused. I know what a pause is.
Y'all are good whenever you're ready.
So when thinking back to like losing your dad at 16, and you got to do all of these activities, like when does any of that stop? Does I guess after a while, people they're there at the beginning, and you have all the support, and you have all of these people around you, but then it kind of fizzles out and dissipates. But does that happen with things like? Do they still check in with you now and the rest of your family? And
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I feel like, with any loss at the beginning, like from, like your friends, organizations, whatever else, like it's strong in the beginning just
Right.
because it's fresh. But, as the years go by, it's not as fresh to them as it is to you. That was your parents. So I think, of course, at the beginning, there's always more. But organizations like TAPS, their programming that's no end. For example, they do like women's retreats. So that's anyone. It could be the mother who lost their son. It could be the spouse. It could be a daughter. There's no age cap. There's no like set time of when you lost that person, and you can still utilize that. So I think some of it is just kind of like you have to look into it on your own after a while and see what's out there and see what's going on. But no, those resources are still out there, and they're willing to do things for you.
so they would send you to Disney World now at 27.
I don't know. Yeah, no, some of them
Christmas
are.
is coming up.
Some of
and-
them are age specific. Like I know they do a big Christmas thing that they've done in years past, and that caps out at 18 years old. But there's other things out there.
Would they send you to Disney World? Did you really ask that? Of all,
She got to go to Euro
gosh.
Disney. Not
Yeah,
like
that
that's
is
like
pretty
a cool,
cool.
like
Yeah.
that's a cool thing to do.
Well, that one was just when when
That
my dad
was-
was stationed.
yeah, that was
so
really
my
cool.
parents just
sorry.
took my sister and I there. Yeah,
Still cool.
but no, that was still very amazing. Great opportunity.
What were some things that people did to support your family that was really helpful? Because I think, a lot of people, when somebody has lost somebody in their family, they don't always know how to react to that. And it can be awkward sometimes, and they think they're helping and they're not. What were some things that people did well from an individual outside of the foundations, but as individuals that was helpful?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, to be honest,
that's okay.
I feel
it's kind
like,
of a blur, I'm sure.
Yeah, I feel like just with, losing someone, people try to help you and try to do everything in the world, but really there's nothing that,
Like you can only
fixes
have
that.
so many lasagnas show up.
Exactly. Yes, we did have meal trains and lots of food and things like
Yeah.
that. But, at the end of the day, that person is still gone, and nothing
Right.
really, fixes or helps that. So
Yeah. And I think that's where the foundations come in, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can be that source where they can offer a little more assistance or something unique.
Yeah,
to
and I think
kinda keep you busy.
with TAPS and Woody Williams, all of the foundations that work so hard to help military families and veterans. I think that one of the biggest things that they do is the fact that they offer events where you can go and see other people and be able to relate because. I have tons of friends and lots of family, but if you haven't lived that experience of being, a military family or losing your father to the country,
Right.
you
Yeah.
can't really relate to that,
Yeah.
So just being able to be in an environment where other people have experienced the same tragedy and, you get to speak with them, you get to hear their story, you get to see how they've coped, how they've dealt, what they're doing. I think that that's really beneficial too, just to know that is a community out there of people that, we have that in common.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved with the Woody Williams Foundation?
Well,
That's a great
I
story.
I know,
love
that
this
is-
story. This
Everyone
is my
loves the
favorite.
story.
Yeah.
Everyone loves the story. So, my mom, me, and my siblings, we all have military plates on our cars, and so all of them are Gold Star plates. And one day, my mom and I, we were just out shopping, and she has a Gold Star spouse plate, and we were getting in the car, just getting there, and getting ready to leave, and somebody comes up to the window and
Always great when somebody approaches you in the
so,
parking lot.
I'm thinking, this is it. Like, I'm
the end.
getting kidnapped. But no, so someone approaches us and they're kind of knocking on the window and they're like, I'm sorry to startle you. I'm not a killer or anything like that, but
That's exactly what a killer would say.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But he said, I noticed your plate and I just wanted you to know about this foundation. It's actually the VP and the CEO that was speaking to us, and he's like, it's called Woody Williams Foundation. Woody is my grandfather. So,
Wow.
it's awesome. Chad is his name, that he has just taken on to this and has really built the foundation. But he gave us his business card and we're like, okay, thank you. And a couple of days went by and I was just looking at the card and I'm like, I'm gonna email him. I just want to reach out and see what it's about and what they're doing and if there's a way that I can help with the foundation. And so I sent him an email and then we ended up meeting for coffee, and honestly we just hit it off, like just hearing all of the great things that they're doing, and he enjoyed listening to my story, and now we meet all of the time, and he asked me to be on the advisory board for the foundation, which is super, super cool.
awesome.
I'm
Yeah.
excited about that.
Yep.
And that's basically the story. So
That's so cool. And what a great way. If you're looking for a way to honor veteran families, I mean, this is a great way to do it. So check out Woody Williams Foundation at woodywilliams.org and learn more about it. So now we need to talk about the part of Tyra's life that your daughter would be the most excited about. Are you a cheerleading coach?
I am.
Wow. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, so I was basically a cheerleader my entire life. I graduated from high school in 2012 and actually moved to Texas for a year to cheer. And
What part?
San Antonio.
Nice.
It wasn't really my forte down there.
That's
so
okay.
My daughter wants to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
Yes.
So bad. She watches the show.
I'm 27 and still watch that show religiously.
I'll have to show you some videos of her moves. And she's 7. And I'm like, oh my God.
I love it.
It's awesome. But at the same time, because I too am a former dancer.
Yes.
But I'm still like, oh my goodness, you need to stop. You're 7. With the hair
I support it.
Yeah. I mean, she's got it. But
Oh, well, yeah. So after Texas, I moved back to Louisville and went to U of L, and I started coaching at my alma mater, Eastern High School. So
Okay.
been there since, and I've worked at gym time a little bit over the years. I cheered there when I was in high school, so it was fun going back and getting to coach there too. But yeah, it's a whirlwind coaching. It's amazing. It is.
It's got to be a lot of fun working with the girls and getting them excited and building that confidence in them.
Yes, yeah, it's intense. Like if any of my girls are listening to this, they tell you, Coach Tyra, she's a little crazy. She's intense. She's intense. But no, they work so hard, and
Yeah.
we're a nationally ranked program, so
wow.
a lot of work goes into that. It
Bravo.
does.
Good for you. That's
Thank
awesome. You are busy.
I am.
And then what are you doing at Stockton Mortgage?
Yeah, so I am a mortgage banker at Stockton. So I
You squeeze that in and amongst all your other extracurriculars.
Yeah, so I do residential home loans for people, and I love that as well. it's amazing just to be a part of that journey of
Yeah.
someone, getting to make the biggest purchase of their life and helping them. It's kind of like, honestly, like coaching as well, coaching them
Never
through
thought about
that
that.
process and helping them get to that closing table to get that home. So I love it. I do.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Well,
Did you know you wanted to be a mortgage banker? Like,
Oh
I
my-
always wonder. I'm
Oh
like,
gosh, no! Have I never told you this story? Okay.
no.
Well-
My husband used to be, he was in marketing, and he was a mortgage banker for a long time, even when we met. And now he's a mortgage processing manager, which he
Wow.
likes a lot more than sales.
I don't know what that means. I still haven't figured out what
so
that means.
mortgage banking is like sales, and then once they close the sale, they send it to processing to do all the paperwork and all the stuff for the loan, and then they send it to closing to close, and then
It funds. And
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the story of mortgage maker. So I went to U of L for undergrad, and then after that, I went to WKU to get my master's. And my undergraduate degree is actually in psychology. And for the longest, I'm like, ooh, I want to be like a clinical psychologist. Then I found out, no, no, not for me. So I ended up getting my master's in organizational leadership, and it was kind of like a business track with that. And after I graduated from grad school, I'm like, I want to buy a franchise. So, which is crazy, but I'm like, I love leading. I love organizational things. I like leading things, putting things together. I want to be a business owner. And so I used some of the money that my dad left me and purchased this marketing franchise. And it was like targeted direct mail, a little bit of digital components, and brought it to Louisville. It was an island market, so I had to build it from the ground up. And this was back in 2019. And so then COVID hit, and I'm like, okay, I don't know that this is going to work anymore. And so the franchise had sent out new franchise agreements, and the royalties were double. And I'm like, I don't know if this is the smartest thing to stay in. So I was in a midlife crisis at 25. And we were actually at our cheer banquet one night, and one of the girls that I coach, her father is actually the VP of strategic growth at Stockton. And he's like, you know what, Tyra? You need to be a loan officer. Like, you are meant to be a mortgage banker. You have the best personality. You're very organized. Like, I think that this is something that you would excel at. And I'm like, I don't think so. Like, never in my life have I ever thought I'm going
I'm gonna be a mortgage banker.
That's not something that crossed my mind, but I'm like, okay, let me be open to a new opportunity. So he brought me in, and I shadowed, and I'm like, you know what? I actually think this is something I could be good at. And for the first couple of months, I just learned the process of the mortgage industry, and I would sit with him and just kind of go to meetings, learn how things work. And then I took my test December of 2020 and got licensed. And so 2021 was crazy, a whole new industry, but I've fallen in love with it. I really, really enjoy it. I'm excited to go in every single day. I love getting to help people and getting to be a part of that process. And it's been really good. So it was a good change for me.
Rates are really good in 2021.
Rates are amazing.
Yeah.
So that
Time to buy a
helped.
house.
Yeah, that helped too. A great time to get
That's
into
like
it.
the
I
little
don't feel like I
tidbit.
can weigh in on this at all. I know nothing about this. So.
I only know this because I spent a year and a half at home listening to
with
my
your
husband on
husband,
the phone, and I have picked out a couple of key things. I don't exactly know what they mean.
Good job,
but I can
Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I've learned some things, just enough to be dangerous.
That's
All
awesome.
right.
That's
Well,
always
good.
That's always an interesting conversation. Like, how did you get
Yeah,
where
into
you
what
are?
you're doing.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I ask myself that all the time.
Like, how did you?
How
get
did I get here?
It's a great question. Like, how did you get here? And like, what's next? What do you want to do next?
Yeah, Tyra.
I
what's
stole your
next?
question, Matt.
Really?
I did. That's always his question.
What is next? So, I mean, for me, I think that I don't want to say calling in life, but my purpose, I think, is just helping people. It really is. And I feel like when my dad first passed away, for the longest, it was, of course, a negative thing, a negative experience and traumatic and just, really, really hard.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I kind of feel like, not that everything happens for a reason, but sometimes you have to find, the good in a bad situation. And I think mine truly is just, being his living legacy, and his legacy is serving. And I mean, what greater way or bigger way to serve than to give your life for this country. And that's what he did. So I think all of the outlets and everything that I do, I mean, from coaching, that's helping other people, from being a mortgage banker, that is helping other people, you know, being on boards, different things like that. It's serving, and that's what he did. That's what I enjoy doing, and that's, you know, honoring his memory in a good way. So back to your question, what's next for me? I feel like in the future, I definitely would like to own another business, or maybe even do like nonprofit work, something that's geared.
We can help you do that.
Geared towards military families, of course, and specifically the children. I think that a lot of times when people think of service and think of the military, they think of that service member, which of course, I mean, they're the ones on the front line, you know, giving their life. But people sometimes kind of forget about, you know, the spouses and the children when, you know, your dad is serving and away, like you're serving too, kind of, you know, you're sacrificing.
That's what our
you know.
CEO says all the time. He says the families,
Yeah.
families are serving too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a big sacrifice. So something, you know, in my future, I see just, you know, giving back to that community as well. And
Do your siblings, you know, like the youngest child that you are mean to, or youngest, are they involved in other organizations too? Do they?
They're not. No.
Okay.
No. They're
Okay.
not.
So we'll have to bring them in too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But well, I think it's really cool. I think what you're doing and how you're representing your family, how you're representing Woody Williams is awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for all you're doing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all that you all do. Like, I think that any organization that is helping veterans, that's helping military families, is amazing. I really do. I think, again, people don't realize, you know, the sacrifice that service members are making, the sacrifice that the family makes, you know, moving every 2 years, you know, not having your mom or dad or brother, sister, whomever else is giving, not having them around. It's a big sacrifice. It really is. So any organization that recognizes that and they're helping military families and
it's
service
an
members,
interesting thing.
I love it. I
You know,
really do.
we told you before, neither one of us are veterans. So for us, it's really a truly unique perspective
Yeah.
to see an aspect of life that most of us who have not served had no idea is going on. The idea of constantly moving, the idea of constantly switching schools, dealing with a parent being gone. You don't even know where they are or what they're doing,
Right. Yeah.
when they're coming home. And then you throw in the aspect of transitioning out when they're done.
Yeah.
Which I thought, well, that'd be a big celebration.
Yeah.
They're going to retire. They're
done,
going to
you
get a
can
great job. Everybody's happy.
Move to Florida.
And that is
like, you're
not
done.
the case at all.
No.
So it's been a wild ride, and I wish everybody could see some of the situations that we see.
Yeah.
Because I think more people would want to get involved and help.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So people like the Woody Williams Foundation and what they're doing with the monuments kind of brings all that to mind.
Yeah, just bringing awareness, honestly, I think is important, because
So
I agree
important.
with you. People really, if you don't live that life, you don't know what
You're
goes
not gonna
on,
get it.
and you really just can't understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
Well-
the majority of people out there. What's
Yeah.
the statistic is what 1% of the population is serving, and
Yep.
the rest of us are just out here living life because
And
of that
benefiting
one
from it.
percent.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's like
Blissfully
why I,
ignorant.
feel so passionate about it, honestly, because you're right. That's a very, very good point. It's like these service members, they're doing this for everyone else,
Yeah.
and
They're-
like that truly is, you hear the ultimate sacrifice, but it truly is.
They're
the
doing the
ultimate
work so that we
sacrifice.
can live comfortably
And I don't
safely.
think like
and-
everyone could say that, oh, yes, I would go give my life for strangers. Most
Yeah.
people, no. Like
Right.
I personally, I would not. I'd have no desire to be in the military. So I greatly respect everybody that,
Right.
does have the desire, and they do that, and they serve for us because it's an important job.
But there is, for a lot of people like me, I'll use myself as an example.
Yeah.
They appreciate the work that people in the military are doing,
Right.
but they don't really know what they can do about it.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do? I can go up to a veteran and say, thank you for your service. That's fine. But is there something more I can? I don't really know.
Yeah.
And it really took looking into some military organizations to see some of the work that's being done, to see, how I can get involved and really do something about it. And for people out there, you've got a full-time job. You can't just join a nonprofit organization. You don't have the hours and hours put into it. Maybe you donate to one of these great organizations that are doing the work. if you don't have a lot of money to donate, maybe you do give some time. Maybe you do offer some volunteer service to get involved. But do your research. Find an organization near you that's doing some great work and get involved today. If you want to learn more about USA Cares, you can obviously learn more about us at usacares.org. There's chapters all over the country. You can get involved. But Tyra, anything else that you want to make sure you mention today? Anything else that you think people should know?
Just to go off of what you just said, I think that definitely, doing your research. If you are someone that you're like, I do appreciate the work that service members do, but I don't know how to help or what I can do. Definitely just doing your research and looking into some of these amazing nonprofit organizations and these foundations and seeing what they do. And yeah, if you have the funds to donate to them. If you have the time to give and volunteer, do that. Or even if it's just educating yourself and, knowing what is going on, I think that is important too, because again, like these service members give so much. Some people sacrifice their lives, and just to, appreciate that and honor them is important. It really is. And, for me, for example, my dad has been gone for 10 years. And I think after 10 years, everyone else kind of forgets. But, that's not something that I forget. That's something that I think about all of the time and live with every day. So just honoring service members and keeping their memory alive for the families, I think, is important.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
We love having you on. Hope you'll be back again sometime.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's great. I want to thank a couple people who've helped us so much. Abound Credit Union, we've mentioned them a couple times, Alexis, but really going out of their way above and beyond to help out.
Absolutely. They've been a great partner with our financial program.
Financial literacy program. Yeah.
I know.
You were going to get there.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm still not quite awake.
You're fine. You're fine. Thank you to Stockton Mortgage for loaning us Tyra today.
Yes.
And the great work they're doing. Justin Thomas Foundation. Alexis, talk about Justin Thomas Foundation.
Yeah, so Justin Thomas Foundation has granted us given us a couple grants to go and purchase toys for military families and on Fort Knox, and we will be delivering those. Okay, kids, don't listen. I don't think kids are listening to this, but we will be delivering those next week, and will be a first for me. I've never been to Fort Knox. Like I said, I have no military background. So I too have like a background of service, and like always have a soft spot in my heart for kids and at any level. And so getting to do something kind for them, especially during this time of year, is always exciting.
It is exciting. It is exciting. And it's great to give back to these kids. We say it again today. The kids serve too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so let's give back to them. Shout out to Justin Thomas. I mean, he's a pro golfer, known around the world. He doesn't need to do anything to help us.
Right.
But he's done some nice posts to promote us. He's done a lot of work.
Servant's heart for kids.
He does.
Too. And,
he does.
He's done a lot of work for the kids in many communities.
So yeah, we hope those celebrities that our kids look up to are actually decent people, and this is one that we're seeing is truly a very good person. And so big thank you to Justin
and Roll Tide
for the great. Oh, stop it with that! Stop it. Also want to mention the great work being done by the Speakeasy Podcast Network. They have done a tremendous job of really standing side by side with USA Cares to make this podcast happen. They've taught us so much about what to do, what not to do. Probably have edited out a few times when we've yelled at each other.
The do's and don'ts of podcasting and how to podcast and how to, he's Robert has been an excellent coach.
Way to go, Robert. Even though you're an only child, we like you. So that's great. But really, it's an amazing tool. If you are an organization or a company who's thinking about getting into podcasting, you really need to check these folks out. This is really gives you a unique perspective to sit down with somebody like Tyra and learn more about them and develop more of a relationship with them. So it's really a helpful tool. Check them out at Speakeasy. I'm going to mess this up. SpeakeasyNetwork.com.
There you go.
Yeah. Did I get it right?
You did.
Yay.
I cut you off. I know you wanted to say podcast network.
SpeakeasyNetwork.com. But reach out, ask for Robert. He'll definitely help you get things rolling. But you need to get involved today and check this thing out. There are so many great things coming up. I can't tell you. We have been working so hard on all these events we've got coming up in 2022 all around the country. Check out usacares.org. Go to the chapters map. Look where the chapters are. if there is a chapter in your area, we're going to be having an event next year, and we want you to be involved. So reach out, info@usacares.org, and say, I want to be involved, and we will get you plugged in. Hit that subscribe button on the podcast and make this a part of your weekly routine. Get involved. Don't sit on the sideline anymore. Let's help some veterans today. Make this the first step towards that. So thank you all. Look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.